Eve. All right, it's not New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve Eve. Okay, is that true, Marty Roberts?
Sure, I guess it's evening now. It's after 6 o'clock, which they consider the evening. So it's Christmas. It's New Year's Eve, not Christmas Eve. New Year's Eve.
All
And
right.
obviously, we're not going out anywhere if we're sitting here doing this.
Listen, you're in Pittsburgh, man. And first of all,
Oh,
Sidney Crosby sends you that picture and everything like that. So how is Sidney Crosby? Did you talk to him? Pittsburgh has a big game, the outdoor game on Monday in Boston at Fenway Park.
yeah, it's a big game. Hopefully, they don't do what they've done the last two games. Take the lead. Detroit was the one that was pretty bad. They were up by I don't know what 3 or 4 goals, whatever it was. Blow that lead, and then last night take the early lead on New Jersey, and then blow that lead. So they've been doing this all year where they've struggled. Now they're coming up against Boston. That's going to
Boston
be a
losing
tough game.
today. Boston losing today to the upstart Buffalo Sabres in overtime 4-3 in Boston.
Yeah, well, Buffalo, I think, is the top scoring team in NHL, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yes.
They're scoring an awful lot of goals over there, and you know, Boston sort of has. I don't know if it's a goalie controversy or not, but they're bouncing back and forth between their two goalies. I think it's Swanson and Allmark.
Yes, and we'll see that outdoor game. Let's talk about that outdoor
Yep.
game here. Pittsburgh Buffalo started off, I believe, 2008. So we're going about
If I
uh
remember correctly, what didn't that go into a shootout or
yes, in the
something? They had to
snow.
keep there
Yeah,
was so much
yeah,
snow on the ice, they had to come and
yeah,
plow it out.
yeah.
Crosby would come down and there's snow all over the place. So that's how an outdoor game should be, truthfully. Not, nice weather can it should be like a blizzard type out there while they're playing.
It should be, and that was memories, of that because it's again, if that was the first one, it was one of its kind. Now every year, and by the way, I broke it with Steve Carney. Nobody gives us credit, so I'm going to give me credit here. All right.
Tap yourself in the
Last
back.
about a week and a half ago, I said the 2024 New Year's Day game will be who? It will be Las Vegas and Seattle. No, but Steve didn't hear it. Nobody else heard it. Look for an announcement on Monday that 2024 game will be Vegas and Seattle. Thank you very much. Credit, remember, credit Fired Up Network. If not, I'll get Marty Roberts to put you against the bus there. All right. So that's number one. Secondly, Marty, I forgot to mention. See, Team Canada with a. I don't know if you see that.
Yeah.
Team Canada with a huge game today in the World Juniors, starting in about 10 minutes time. If at any scores before we finish, we'll get to it here. Now, we'll talk about the Maple Leafs in a couple seconds, but Marty, I know you're in Pittsburgh, but switch it. Let's switch it to baseball. Can you switch it? Show everybody you're at the Rogers Center.
All right, let's see if I can do this
Look,
quickly enough and
in
and show the
2020,
people at
see,
home.
in
There we go.
2023, look, let Marty Roberts be at the Rogers. Oh, look at that. All right.
There we go.
So, okay. So let's go to 2022. Blue Jays, an okay year. Good year. Playoffs, not so good. All
Yep.
right. Not so good. All right. And by the way, that Rogers Center, it's not going to be that Rogers Center looking like that for this year. They're going to do, they're doing renovations and they're giving people update and all that. First, let's talk about the Rogers Center. For a guy who frequents the Rogers Center all the time and all that, long overdue.
Yeah, I think they had to do something in there. That's for sure. Like it was just a cement block it started turning out to be. We all know when the dome's open, it's different. When it's closed, it's pretty much a dead atmosphere in there. So hopefully this adds to that atmosphere with the changes they're making. I think it was the right thing to do to bring it up to at least somewhat modern times. Because how old is Sky Dome?
1989,
So
1989.
it's one of the older parks around now. And this probably, like they said, gives them another 10 years, I guess, hanging out at the Rogers Center. It'll draw fans to see what the new stuff's about, what it looks like. Um, I think it's going to look good. I just don't know, like, even if the roof's closed, there's still no lighting coming in from the outside. Is it going to be that big of a difference? We'll see when it gets all done. They say everything's on par to get done for phase one for the opening of the season. So we'll see once that comes, but it'll be exciting to go and see the new look.
All right. And are they going to see any new players other than the ones they just got?
They still, you know, obviously the Bassett, the Kiermaier, Varsho. I absolutely love that trade. Um,
Yeah.
this brings their defense to one of the best in Major League Baseball now with Springer, Varsho, and Kiermaier right there. Their base running, you take away Hernandez and Gurriel, who are two of the worst base runners in Major League Baseball, and bringing in one of the better base runners, and both Kiermaier and Varsho only adds to that. Varsho had the 27 home runs. Yes, he only batted like 237, but if he could figure out major league pitching like he did in the minor leagues, he was a 300 hitter in the minors.
Yeah.
If he comes and does that at the big league level, which you know what, all indications are he's a guy that loves to work. He's come out and said it. Everything he goes after, goes after it hard. Whether it's go through the wall, dive, slide, whatever it is, he's doing whatever he can to get to that baseball. I'm guessing he's the exact same way at the plate. He's going to work on things. Yes, he struggles against hitting left-handed pitching. I like him. I really like this. And what you have to remember too is that I believe the park in Arizona is one of the worst hitting parks for hitters. Now
Yeah.
you're coming to a ballpark that is hitter friendly. That can only help him. I'm excited about this. And they went out and they signed Julian Fernandez
Yeah. There's
to
the
a
guy,
minor league
100 miles.
contract, right? To a minor league contract. He pitched for Colorado 6 2/3 innings last year. The upside is he touches 103 miles an hour, sits 99 miles an hour. So that's a guy that the Jays would like to have. The downside is it seems like everyone loves hitting against this guy. Gives up an awful lot of home runs, walks an awful lot of guys. His stats last year in the minors were a 6.63 ERA. In 57 innings, he gave up 15 bombs. Now, he went to the Dominican League after the season was done, and he had a 2.81 ERA in 16 innings, but only struck out 7 guys.
Yeah.
We need a guy that can throw like that. If they can get him figured out to not make that pitch look so big when it's coming in. Like I honestly, I've never seen him throw. I don't know much about him except that he tops out at 103, which is just insane. If Walker and the rest of the staff can get this guy straight away, this is a nice addition to the bullpen.
This is a very nice addition.
Right? Because everyone's always said we need a guy that can throw and swing and miss stuff. Well, we have the guy that has the velo.
And
Unfortunately,
besides that, he pitched in Colorado where it's a little bit atmosphere.
yep.
So
But
if
even
your ERA
in
is
the minors, he
5,
gives up in the minors, which is it's still, I think it's a hitter friendly league where he
yeah,
was in AAA. He still gives up an awful lot of home runs. If they can correct that, and like you can't teach the guy to throw 103 miles an hour, you just
no,
can't. So you have that guy. If they can figure out something with him to make it that fastball move out of the zone so it doesn't look so enticing to hitters to hit out of the park. This could be a nice ad
it's a
by
steal.
Atkins,
It's a
right?
steal.
Yep, it could be. He had Tommy John surgery in 2017, I believe it was. Everyone's having Tommy John surgery. Everyone's throwing so hard now. It's elbows are giving out. Everything is giving out. So,
So I'm
I,
going to ask you this. I
yep,
haven't asked you this ever. Sorry, Marty. You're a former pitcher. Now, I get emails about this all the time, and now, like you said, everybody's having Tommy John, right? Can you give the layman's term? What does Tommy John surgery mean? Because when you had Tommy John surgery 10 years ago, means your career's in doubt, and your probably a year and a half in doubt. Now, like you said, everybody's having it, and they come back in 8 months or whatever.
it's usually 12. I think it's anywhere between 12 and 16 months is the time frame for you to be off with Tommy John. It's obviously it's a ligament around your elbow, and I believe that they take it from your leg. I want to say, and they replace that ligament in your elbow. But Ryu, he's on pace to be back in July, which would be right around 12 months for him to be back from Tommy John surgery. Some guys take longer. Some guys come back and throw harder
Yep.
when they're done Tommy John. I don't know enough about all that as to why that happens, because you see Verlander comes back after having it and he looks like he's 25 years old again.
Yeah.
And then you have other guys that come back and they're not throwing quite as hard. So to me, it's a mystery as to how guys come back from it and how they heal from it and how they throw harder. But no matter what, it's still a surgery. And I know that there's lots of parents out there that want their kids to have Tommy John surgery early because they think it makes them throw harder and they won't ever have to have Tommy John surgery again. Well, guess what? Guys are having Tommy John surgeries 2-3 times. And not everyone's coming back with the same zip they had before the surgery. So to me, parents that are having their kids get Tommy John surgery are idiots. Plain and simple. You don't want to go ever under the knife. If you can go your whole career without ever going under the knife, that's pretty big. But like I said, kids are throwing so hard nowadays that it's pretty much a for sure thing that at some point they're getting Tommy John.
All right. Well,
and here's the other thing about the Jays. This is the first, they're only a couple $100,000 over that bottom threshold for the luxury tax. I think it's $200,000 to tell you the truth. So if they stay at that, it's 20% that they have to pay. It wouldn't surprise if they shed that $200,000 so they get under that threshold. Or maybe they just say, you know what, let's just add another piece. You don't know what Atkins is thinking. Everyone early on was so upset with Atkins not making any moves. I was one of them. I was like, heck, all these guys are dropping off the board. But he had a plan. His plan was, it looked like he wanted Bassett. He went out and got Bassett. That was a big ad. Yes, he probably tried to get another outfielder. It didn't work. So then he used his assets in his catcher's position and got Varsho. Lots of people don't like this deal. Gurriel's gone. Oh, to me, it doesn't break my heart that Gurriel's gone. Moreno, he's a prospect. We don't know what he's going to be. I think he's going to be pretty good. I really do. But at the same time, you got a guy back that in his second year in the league had 27 home runs, steals bases, plays defense like he does. This is a guy that the Jays fans will end up loving.
Yeah.
And it makes that batting order. Yes, the offense isn't as good as what it was last year. But if a couple guys come around, like Merrifield has what he did in KC, this becomes a different type of lineup that can produce runs different ways with their legs. Kiermaier and Merrifield. I would expect those two to be down at the bottom of the order, 8, 9, because you don't want to clog up the base pass for Springer and Bo at the top. And Jansen and Kirk will be in there, and Varsho can catch if need be if one of those guys has to come out. So I like the setup of this lineup. We'll see if they're done tinkering. I think they'll get a guy for the bench and maybe look for another arm.
We've got a message on Twitch here from Nelson Seamont wanting any updates on college football. Okay, well, here's the college football today updates. In the Music City Bowl, Iowa defeated Kentucky 21-0. The Sugar Bowl, as I predicted, John Nelson, you're wrong. Alabama, 5th ranked, beat Kansas State, 9th ranked, 45-20. And then in the CPP college football playoffs, Fiesta Bowl, what a game right now. TCU, 3rd rank, leading Michigan 21-16. Of course, 8 p.m., Ohio State taking on Georgia. That's so far the college bowl action today. And like I mentioned, in NHL, couple games final today. It was Columbus beating Chicago 4-1, Buffalo beating Boston 4-3. And Flyers are doubling the LA Kings. 20 seconds left.
And Ovechkin had 2 more goals tonight.
And this is exactly what I was going to talk about. Washington 7, Montreal 2 with 6 minutes left. Third period, 3-3 tie between Arizona and Tampa. 1-1 tie between Minnesota and St. Louis. The Leafs play Colorado, the reigning defending Stanley Cup champions, at 7. Samsonov will start. Now,
he is starting, eh? I know they hadn't reported anything. So I wonder if Murray's hurting some.
Well, that's right now. There's not. I again, I'm reporting what other people have reported. Samsonov will start, but that's not confirmed. That's Marty Roberts. Look at this. All right, that's not confirmed. But again, let's talk on the Maple Leafs for right now. Maple Leafs forever pregame. The Leafs and Colorado. Now let's look at their opponent first of all. Reigning defending Stanley Cup
Yep.
champions this year, except for Kyle McCarr. This guy Kyle McCarr is amazing when he takes the puck. When he,
Yep.
I don't think and I don't think nobody defensive wise is as good as this guy right now. Right now, do you agree?
Yeah, he's pretty special. He got off to a slow start, right? He did. But he's a special guy. When he takes that puck, he can go end to end, and
Well,
you can't do anything about it. So I got him in my fantasy pool. I took him first overall, so I'm glad that he's finally starting to pick it up. Landon Scully's been out for the whole year so far. Manson's out with lower body injury. He's not going to be back till probably another month. So those two pieces are out. I don't think their goaltending is as good as what it was in past years for Colorado. They're obviously missing a little bit of Kadri, but they still have a team that can put the puck in the net if they want to, right? So if the Leafs don't show up here and start off with their foot on the pedal right away, this could be a long night for them because you know what? If it's Samsonov that's starting, he's really struggled over his last 3 games.
yeah,
His save percentage is way down. His goals against average is way up. He's allowing a few weak goals. And this is all saying that, to me, the Leafs have been playing some of their best defense as a team over the last month and a half, where they're not allowing a lot of shots and not a lot of quality shots.
let's see if there's any updates here regarding the Leafs lineup. Right now, it still says Samsonov, but people are there at in Colorado, so they Murray leads the Leafs onto the ice for
But it's
warm
Murray
up.
that's gonna. So, but even with Murray, Murray's struggled too in 3 of his last 5 games. His save percentage is below 900. So, again, are we falling into this what we did last year with Campbell in net? Got off to a great start, and then a couple months into the season, he took a tailspin. Is this what we're going to see? I think the difference, though, this time is if the goalies are struggling a bit, the Leafs defense as a team is a lot better than what it was last year. Like they're allowing 18, 19, 20 shots in a game.
Yeah. And
That
and
that's
sorry, let's give it to Dubas there because what a pickup Connor Timmins has been. All right,
Timmins has been unbelievable, has he not?
this
I
guy
think he had,
deserves a spot. Still, doesn't matter if Muzzin and Riley and everybody comes back. This guy deserves a spot right now.
yeah, it'd be like Riley's back. Riley came back last game, so we're waiting on Sandin to be the only other one. It'll be interesting to see what they do once Sandin comes back. Do they sit out? Who do they sit out? I really don't know who they sit out. Like
You
their
sit out
defense.
Morgan Riley.
Well, if obviously I would like to see Hall gone, but he's been playing better of late, so he's not in that question to sit out.
So I'm going to
Is it
ask
going to
you a
be?
question, Marty. Here, so, again, sorry, cutting you off, but I'll ask you a question. The Leafs are in with Vancouver and Bo Horvat and a couple other players. Who is from Vancouver? Morgan Riley. Could you? And Morgan Riley makes what 6, 7, 8 million.
Yeah,
So could
there
you?
might. You're right. There might not be a better time than right now to ship Morgan Riley out. There might not be. Like you have a defense that's playing pretty good. He was out for a long stretch, and they held it together pretty good. He's not the best defensively, anyways.
Yeah,
And if you want to look at things, Sandin's sort of the same type of player, but has more of a physical edge to him, I think, than what Morgan Riley does. So it wouldn't be the worst thing to get rid of Morgan Riley. Now, will someone take his contract? I don't know. What's he signed for? Another 5 or 6 years?
yeah, yeah.
Right. But yeah, bringing in Timmins, he has, I think it's 4 points in 5 games, playing pretty good back there. tonight's going to be an interesting game to see if Murray plays like he has early in the season, or does he play like he did the last 3 or 4 games?
And let's face it, with the Leafs, Arizona's put it at home. I know they play in that mullet arena, all right, but Arizona at home, again, they're surprisingly sneaky. By the way, the Maple Leafs wanted the Arizona defenseman Chikrin. It looks like they're not going to get him. All right, so that's number one. The Maple Leafs again are talking to Vancouver or whatever, but I have also heard, and Marty, I want to get your take on this one. As you know, Austin Matthews in a year wants to get a new contract. Are you going to pay him 15 million a year?
You know what? That's a good question. It's
Because if you're not, he's on the block. I'm sorry.
yeah, I would think the Leafs are going to make him a serious offer. I would. I can't see letting Austin Matthews skate in the prime of his career. You lose Austin Matthews, that's a big hole that you're not going to fill for years to come. You may never get another guy who can score goals like Austin Matthews can. So I think they go out and they make a serious offer. Is it good enough? We'll see if Matthews wants to
What is
stay.
the serious offer? Because I hear he wants 14, 15 million. Connor McDavid makes about 13.
Yeah.
So he wants to be the highest paid hockey player in the world.
Yeah,
What,
and it's all when McDavid signed his deal, it was obviously the top at that time. Now Matthews is coming out at a time where he could command that as long as over the next couple seasons he continues to do what he's doing. Yes, he's having a little bit of a off year goal wise this year with only 17, but he's still on pace to have just under 50 goals.
yeah. No,
And
he's a
and
good
that's an
scorer.
off year for him, right? So I think you can't let a guy like Matthews walk. But here's the interesting thing. What if at that time you come and it's time to sign him? And I don't know what the cap's going to be at that time. They say it's going to go up quite a bit. But can they fit him under the cap, or do they have to start trading guys
That's my
around him?
next question. Even if the cap goes up, you know, I think he wants 14 to 15 million.
Yeah.
Even if the cap, let's say the cap is whatever, 83 million, goes up to 93 million. Okay, 10 million more. Okay. Some guy said Austin Matthews wants
15
15.
million.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I could like I said, here's the interesting thing about the Leafs. And they got charged that fine that $100,000 the other day for leaving early
yeah.
going to St. Louis. The Leafs make so much money. A salary cap just benefits teams like the Maple Leafs, the New York Rangers, teams like that. So they have, if cap moves up, they have the money to spend it. Is it going to be for Austin Matthews? I think they will. I really do. They can't let
So
Matthews
you would
go.
give him 15 million.
I would. Yes, I would.
So,
I would. As much as that's an awful lot of money.
okay, so
I
here's
look
the
at,
whole thing. Here's the whole thing.
yep,
That's 15 million for Matthews. All right.
yep.
So 15 million for Matthews. Okay. So then Marner's coming up same
Yeah.
time. Are you going to give 13 million to Marner?
That's the thing. At that time, Tavares' contract's going to be gone. I would say, what's he got? 2 or 3 years left on it, right?
Yeah.
So there's that 11 million off of the books at that time. There's some other players that money will be off the books. I just don't think you can let Matthews go. I don't like that sets you back a big.
So
It's a
you,
big
anyway,
step
you
back.
would
It's a
pay him
big step
$15
back.
million. You would
I
pay
would, and at that time you're hoping that Matthews has made his money on this contract and says, "Let me help out the Leafs if he wants to stay here, and I'll sign for a little bit less."
That's
Like
not going to happen.
it's not, but it's amazes me that you look at teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Crosbys, Melkins, Latangs take less to stay there because A, they like the city. B, they know if they take less, they can sign other players in that for that franchise. I don't know if Matthews has that thinking on his second contract because him and Marner went for the most they could get in contract number one
I
with
could
the
tell you
Leafs.
right now that Matthews will not. Marner, like Tavares, would.
Yeah,
And the difference, I don't want to say it, but you know what the difference is. Tavares, Marner are Canadian. Matthews.
Yeah, but hey, you know what, Matthews, go back and play at the Mullet for 15 million in front of 5,000 fans.
Yeah, well, it looks like I'm not going to read that comment, but
He would
it's
be
true.
effed.
Yeah, that's right. And
Well,
for that
you know what?
matter,
Anyone, you're right. Like he's right. If the Leafs do, that ties their hands an awful lot. It does. It ties It ties any the hands of teams a lot. If they have to go out and spend $15 million, it'd be perfect if there was no salary cap. But if there was no salary cap, you would see the teams like the Rangers, the Leafs, the Canadians, teams like that have money, that make awful lot of money, would just outbid everyone.
all
So
right.
there, you just have to hope that at the time that the contract comes up, that Matthews, Marner, guys like that want to stay here and will say, okay, I will take a little less to stay here. That's what you have to hope. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know
It won't.
them
It won't.
personally. Just from looking at what they did in contract number one, you're probably right, and the same as the listeners probably right that they're going to
Remember
go
the
for as
Muskoka
much as they
Five,
can.
20 years ago, Muskoka Five. Remember,
Yep.
Darcy and Shane and Sundin and everybody. Come on, they have a precedence here in Toronto, and you're right. Like, look, and I don't have to tell you even more here. Johnny Gaudreau. They,
Yeah.
Calgary wanted him, and other teams. And where does he sign? Columbus, one of the worst teams
Yeah.
in the
There is things like you look at some of these guys and you look at Stamkos with Tampa. He got more money offered to him elsewhere, right? But he wanted to stay in Tampa. That's what you have
league.
to hope with some of these guys. They say now Toronto's awfully tough market to play in. You have to
Yeah,
remember that. Like, there's guys that do not like playing in Toronto because of the media, the fans. Matthews, to me, doesn't mind it. It doesn't bother him. He's got his smart comments back when he's talking to the media. Marner, the same thing. So they might stay here. I don't know what they're going to get, but probably up in the $15 million range for Matthews for sure.
all right, so let's get to the World Juniors here. I'm just going to get the scores of the World Juniors thus far. And Canada has scored 2 goals already. All right.
Look, all the talking we're doing, and they scored already, Joseph.
Yeah, you don't stop talking. You're like some guy NR. Come on.
No,
All right.
I'm
USA, US won their game by defeating Finland 6-2. Czech Republic all over Germany 8-1. Switzerland beat Slovakia 4-3 in a shootout, and Canada 17 minutes left to go in the first period already, and Connor Bedard has 2 assists on the 2 goals. This guy, you talk about, McDavid, you talk about Crosby, Matthews. Could this guy be even better than
well.
them?
He's. I think he's tied right now with Everly for most goals scored.
Yeah,
I believe that's what it is. And I'm sort of glad as in who's in net, not what's his name, Goudreau. I think if it's Milik is how you pronounce his name, he's the better of the two. If he was in net for that game against the Czech, it's the Team Canada's undefeated right now because Goudreau was not very good in the nets versus the Czech. This is nice to see. Like you look at Bedard, like he's breaking records all over the place. Going to be the number one pick, obviously in the draft. Whoever gets him is going to be, a lucky team for the next 10 years at least.
yeah,
And he's only 17 years old.
yeah. Look at the dog is
Well,
crazy.
someone lit off some
Who
firecrackers
who
outside
let
my
the
house.
dogs out, Marty? It's New Year's Eve. Who let out the dogs, man? All right, Marty. As we sort of conclude this edition of Sports Wrap, we got a couple minutes left. Marty, it's New Year's Eve. All right, I'm gonna ask you. You're one of the guys that I built the Fired Up Network around in 2022. Yes, I'll even
Wait,
say.
Joe. So I'd like to thank the listener. He keeps giving us the update series. 3 points behind Lindros all time for
Yeah, and by
leaderboard.
the way, I'll give this listener or watcher, Lindros, but
My eyes are bad. I can't see what the name says.
12, 12. He played. This is his 13th game. Other
Yeah,
guys
and
have
you got to
played over
remember
20.
the COVID was cut short, right?
Yes.
So this kid is going to be the real deal. You watch what he does on the ice in the games in this World Junior Tournament. You're just like amazed at what he's doing. So I can't wait to see what he can do as an 18-year-old. He's going to be in the NHL. What he'll do there, and it might take him a little bit of time to get going, but I don't think very much time. I think you can put him in that conversation of McDavid's and Crosby's when he gets into this league.
All right, Marty, since it's New Year's Eve, since you're a famed guy of the Fired Up Network, you done tremendous, tremendous work in 2022. And I mean this sincerely. You're one of the guys I counted on anytime. Yes, I'll take you to Myrtle Beach. That's Myrtle Beach. All right.
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Have you played in Myrtle Beach? Golf to Myrtle Beach? What?
No, I went to Myrtle Beach a couple years ago. I planned on going this year, but it didn't work out. So hopefully I can
No,
get
no,
there
Marty.
March.
The truth here, the truth. Okay, you wanted to go to Myrtle Beach for Christmas. That's the truth.
Yep.
But you took the Sunwing, and you saw Sunwing gave problems to everybody out there. So that again. But
You
Marty,
gotta like the. I don't know if you saw the I guess the news where the Sunwing customer service rep told the people that he can make them stay in Mexico for the
yeah,
rest of their life.
yeah,
You gotta like that, right?
yeah.
That
All right.
the Sunwing guy thinks he has that kind of power that he can make them stay there for the
Who
rest of
does
his
he think
life.
he is? The president of the provinces? Okay, never mind. All right, Marty. So I'm going to say this. Great work in 2022. I'm going to rely on you for 2023 even harder here. But Marty, what's your New Year's Eve tradition? What are you doing tonight in Myrtle Beach?
Well, I'm hoping to stay awake till 12 o'clock to see the ball drop. By twelve o
How
one, I'm
many
usually
balls are going to be
crashed.
dropping?
What's that?
How many balls do you see
Just
dropped?
one big ball dropping, Joseph.
One big ball.
But man, I just stay home now. My son's gone out to a friend's New Year's Eve party. My daughter's too young yet to go out. We'll sit here, we'll watch TV, maybe have a drink or two, and celebrate 2023 coming in, or
All right, Marty, hold
2022
on.
going
I
out,
got a
and
question.
23 coming
I
in.
got a question here. I got a question. Should we do a Maple Leafs post game New Year's Eve celebration where maybe I go down on my knee? If I go down on
So
my
I
knee,
told you before, if you go down on your knee, you might not get back up.
I may not get back up. So do you highly recommend that I don't go on my knee?
I highly recommend it. I think you
Oh,
sit down in your chair
and then what?
and do whatever you're going to do at that point.
What do you think I'm going to do then?
I,
Since I'm the president of the provinces of Canada, the mayor elect of North America, should I go on the knee or should I just say, baby, would you marry me?
well, I think that
That
if you are
that's
wait,
awful.
let me take this back. If you are going to go down your knee, just make sure someone is videotaping it so we can
I'm
make
going to do
lots
it
of money
live
off of
here
this.
on the Fired Up Network, live
When
here
you
with you in
fall, okay, we
front.
got to be making sure that it goes out, because when you fall over and can't get back up, I want to win that $10,000 at America's Funniest Home Videos.
Are you making fun of me, Marty
No,
Roberts?
no, I'm just stating a fact.
Marty Roberts. So I'm going to ask you. So should we do a post game edition? Are you going to be hammered? Are you going to have one beer, two beer, 40 beers? What are you going to do? Stone Cold Steve? What? What? Stone Cold Steve Austin or what?
I might
Come on.
just get a
What?
keg out and just guzzle it right here. I'll have one of those hats that have the beer cups on the side, and I'll just start drinking from it.
So here, it's New Year's Eve. We're going to go a little bit like not typically X rated here, but New Year's Eve. What's your favorite drink?
I just have Coronas. That's all I have.
Coronas.
Yeah.
And what about Sharonas?
I don't know what Coronas is. My wife has some, she likes this frozen drink. I don't know what it's called. My
Uh,
son likes, I think it's called Fireball. He likes
What
having
about
those
Red
shots
Bull?
of Fireball.
What about Red Bull?
Red Bull. Red Bull's not like, no.
Red Bull gives you wings. Don't you want to fly in 2023?
I can fly at any
All
time.
right. So, Marty, I'm going to ask you this as we look at the end of 2022. Two questions.
Yep.
What do you think was the greatest in sports? greatest moment for you in 2022 and the worst moment in 2022, and in 2023, what's your New Year's resolution?
Oh my gosh, way to put me on the spot, Joseph. I've never, I don't think about that stuff. I don't put a lot of emphasis on what's the biggest moment, the saddest moment, because things change day to day. I'll tell you
Anything.
one thing that was a sad moment for me in 2022 was the passing of Jack Dominica with the Toronto Maple Leafs just before the intercounty season started. So that was a bit of a sad moment there to see a gentleman who's run the Toronto Maple Leafs in the intercounty for all those years. And I don't know if they're still going to be fielding a team. I know there's some issues over there, but losing him, it was a big hit to baseball in Canada and Ontario in the intercounty league. So that was very a sad moment for me. As for a big moment, there to me it's there wasn't one that I can think of that I say, oh wow, that was a surprise or that was a great moment. So I'll just leave it at the Jack Dominico was a sad time for me.
That's condolences that go out to great Jack Dominico there, and we'll have Toronto Maple Leaf coverage here on the Fired Up Network. Marty Roberts, big part of that. For me, you mentioned Jack Dominico, and that's right up there. But we just lost a guy that I know, my family knows, Pele. World's greatest
Yep,
soccer player, and of course, growing up, and you know this, my favorite hockey player was Borja Salming.
yep.
So Borja Salming, and can't forget, for that matter, Guy Lafleur passed away this year, and all that. And my highlight of the year, Marty, just I'm gonna whisper this: I have met the love of my life. All right, shh. There may be a surprise coming if we do a post game show. Maybe if I got
Okay.
enough Coronas in me.
We got to make sure that you get enough Coronas in you.
All right, how do you make sure, Marty? Can you skip the dishes for Corona here or what?
Skip the dishes.
All right, Marty. So the next question, 2023. What
Yep,
what forget about what you like to your New Year's resolution or whatever. That's crap. Everybody asks this and whatever.
yep.
What do you like to see changed in the world of sports for this year?
Well, there's not. I know people want change. They don't want athletes getting as much money as they possibly can get. To me, it's not my money, so I don't. It's the owner's money. They want to spend it. They go ahead and spend it. Yes, it is insane as to what they get, but in sports, I just want to. What? I just want to see it all be a level playing field for all teams. Like I don't want to see teams, in the MLB will go with teams that are spending 35 million, yet there's teams that are spending 350 million. If I feel bad for those fans that are in those cities that have teams not spending money. What's the point of going? You're just buying a ticket to watch a minor league team. So hopefully that gets figured out. And we know for MLB it's not going to be for at least 4 more years because they just had their contracts renegotiated, right? So I don't know. I'm looking forward to mid February when pitchers and catchers arrive in at spring training in Florida and Arizona, and we can get back to watching the Blue Jays try to get to the World Series again.
Right now, are the Blue Jays a World Series contender? Yes or
You
no?
know what? I think they might be. To me, I'm picking them in the AL East right now as it stands. Only because I think they're the one team in the AL East that has made enough changes. Like, yes, the Yankees added Rodon, but they basically re-signed all their other free agents. So I like what the Jays done. You got to look at the Astros are still the Astros. Seattle Mariners. Texas added a few more pieces with Evaldi and DeGrom. The problem is they don't have a bullpen in Texas. That's the big thing in Toronto. If they can get that bullpen figured out, like they have Swanson that came in, that's a nice ad. Will this Fernandez be a good ad? We'll see. Pearson, is he going to be ready? There's the potential for it to be really good.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
there really is. And I think the big thing we can look forward to this year is you got no Charlie from the start. You
Listen,
have this. This is Schneider's team and Mattingly helping them. I think you see something different when you have them right from spring training all the way through.
number one, I think it's a much different team.
Yep.
It's a baseball team, not a home run hitting team. A baseball team
Their
where,
their baseball IQ is a lot higher than what it was at the end of last year.
yeah, they will steal base. And I want to see if somebody in this team bunts, because for years nobody knew how to bunt.
You
All
know what
right.
we got to remember too, Joe, is this year the shift is not going
Yep.
to be happening, right? There's a certain spot no outfielders can be on the no infielders can be in the outfield, so they all have to be standing on the infield. No one could go past like the shortstop can't go, third base can't go on the other side of second base. Same as first and second, they can't move. This is going to add to a few players that will benefit from the shift being eliminated to a point. Whereas Varsho might be one of those guys because he's pretty much a dead pull hitter. So he's not going to have four guys sitting on the one side of the infield. It's going to be a different game this year, seeing the alignments of the infielders and outfielders, how they do things. That's going to benefit some players. So I'll be looking forward to seeing how this happens. And 3-0 now, Team Canada, and Bedard has a third assist.
Yes, that's what the fan on Twitter said 10 minutes ago. All right. So, Marty, I can only say this to you. 2023, uh, couple days, out of the year, a lot of people birthdays and all that. Shout out January 14th, but February 8th will go down as the greatest day of the year. The second, and why do I say that, Marty? Tell everybody.
Because it's my birthday. Oh wait, it's your birthday as well.
Yes, and Daniel Spencer, referee for the Fired Up Network's birthday also. But then, that's the greatest day. But February 12th is the second greatest day, or can be a worse day, if they lose the Super Bowl again. I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills. Marty, I'm telling you, if you don't know, I will drink Coronas. I will drink vodka. I will drink whatever. February 12th, when the Buffalo Bills beat Drew Ebanks, Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to party like it was 1999. Hell, I'll party if it was 1969. I wasn't even born. I'll just party with my good, close personal friends, Chris Berman and Eric Cohen, who will lose more hair and everything like that. I'm going to put him through a table. Marty, you're invited to the party, Super Bowl party, when we put Eric Cohen through a table. Are you going to come?
No, I'll be busy that night.
You're going to be busy watching your
But I
Washington.
would be one of the guys that had the most hair if Eric was there.
See, this is why you should be there. Come on. This is why you should be there.
Well, you know what? When you go back to that, like the Eagles have some quarterback problems because injuries. How long is he going to be out? When's he going to be back? Buffalo, truthfully, hasn't looked the greatest over the last 3 or 4 games, Joseph. Like
Yes.
Allen struggles at times.
Well, this is the game. This is the game on Monday. Buffalo, Cincinnati. If Buffalo wins, the Super Bowl goes through Buffalo. If Buffalo loses, I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl. Put it that way. And
It's
case
going to
closed.
be like, and it's in Cincinnati, is it not?
Yes.
So that's going to be, Boros is. I absolutely love that guy. The way
What's
that
his first
he's,
name?
huh?
What's his first name?
Joe.
The Marty. I don't know if you know this, but the world's greatest people always call Joe or Joseph.
Yeah.
Marty, second, a deep second or whatever. All right.
Well, here's the other thing too. I'm happy about is that my Washington football team is starting Wentz and not Heineke.
Well, they need to win. Put it that way.
They need to win. They should have won. Heineke, like I said, did his job there. He's a nice backup, but he just makes decisions at the wrong time that cost Washington games. And we saw it last week. I think it was a fumble, an INT, and then Wentz came in. He led them down quickly for a score. We'll see if Wentz is the answer, but if they win, they're in.
All
Like
right,
they're
Marty.
playing Cleveland, right? So they need to win that game against Cleveland.
So, Marty, as we conclude this, I'm trying my best to, if we do a post game show about 9:45 or whatever, I'm trying. Look at Marty Roberts when I say this. I'm
Did you want
trying
me
my
to go
best.
online and get my license to marry you online?
If you can do that, I think. But I'm trying to do my best to get uh, the lady who's going to be the future president of the provinces of Canada to come on. But Marty, even better, if that happens, I'm trying my best to get my sister on here. Marty Roberts, look at your face now. Look at your face now. Don't tell your wife that.
I no, my face was because I looked and Ovechkin had a hat trick.
All right. Ovechkin had a hat trick. Another three. He's probably breaking Gretzky's record. All right.
It might be next year that he does it, right?
Yeah. So there you go. We may or may not do a Leafs post game / New Year's Eve. And Marty, you think me and you could be like the guys on CNN drinking and all that, and say about some other shows there about how they put me to sleep there. One question puts me to sleep, and how one guy has nice eyebrows and everything like that. We may be hammered with some Coronas there, and shout out everybody like on number 29, and like now he wasn't so good in Canada, has to go to some other countries and all that. But Marty, any last comments that you want to tell the fans? And
No,
maybe
if we're not back on here, I hope everyone has a happy new year and be safe when you're out tonight. Don't be drinking and driving. There's Ubers all over the place. There's ride programs all over the place for you to get around. Call your parents; they'll come and pick you up. Unless, of course, they've had one too many, then you have to call someone else. But be safe out there. You don't want to be that person that makes that mistake and it costs someone their life for no reason other than that you want to drink and drive. So be
yeah.
safe. Have a happy new year. If we don't have a post game Leaf show, and we'll see you in 2023.
And Marty, you speak like somebody who's going to pick up their son at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, and he always has. I've told him anytime you call, I will pick you up. It's not a big issue. I'd rather him have me come and get him, or my wife, than any one of his friends who might have been drinking, or anyone that might be drinking. So it
What's
makes
the
it that
latest
easier.
he has ever pulled that? Like, is it 3? Is it 4?
Nah, usually about 3:15 is when he'll say, "Hey, can you come and get me?"
And are you out of it? Are you sleeping at the time?
No, my hours are. I usually don't fall asleep till 3:34 in the morning, anyway. So I'm usually up.
So you want to do a show at 2 o'clock in the morning to the first show of 2023 for anybody?
Well, it would have to be 12:01. We'd be the first show.
No, I'm kissing somebody at 12:01.
Well,
My kiss,
does that
my kiss
person
is
know
so
this
good.
yet? Have you found this person you're going to kiss?
Have I found?
Yes, that doll you got ordered from Amazon doesn't count, right?
The doll. Where you see a doll here? Where's that doll? The doll. Never mind, Marty. All right. It's because FedEx didn't deliver it. All right,
It's
Marty.
lost.
That's it. So again, fans who are watching, listening, first of all, thank you to the person on Twitter who wrote, or on LinkedIn who wrote all those stuff here. Thank you for your participation. We're going to be heard and seen by more and more people in 2023. You won't believe who we have coming on and what we have going on, but we're most likely we will do a post game show. Want to see Marty drunk. Marty, are you gonna wear this? I'll tell you what. Since it's New Year's Eve, I'll wear a shirt and tie for the Maple Leafs post game
Like
edition.
you've never done a shirt and tie before.
I
How
look
about
good?
you just put some suspenders on?
What do you think, man? Suspenders now. What do you? Why do I need some suspenders, man?
I don't know. Because honestly, you could be that guy Paul from Cheers. Wear suspenders, put some glasses on, and sit at the bar.
Paul, isn't that
Yes.
guy's name Norm?
No, that's Norm. There's Norm, Cliff, and Paul. There you
I
go.
don't
See, you
know.
got the glasses. Now you see the suspenders.
I don't need suspenders. 3-0 Canada and the first period. Big game in the World Juniors. Bedard 3 points already. Unbelievable.
It's
This
a, it's
stuff.
a big statement game, Joe. That is
Yeah.
a huge statement game because I don't know how all the tiebreakers work, but if they win this, I'm certain that they get first place. Even though they lost the Czech, Sweden beat the Czech. It's a whole. They should truthfully be undefeated right now if it wasn't for the goaltending in game one.
Yeah, it's unbelievable there. All right. If we don't come back on, Happy New Year to everybody. Again, Marty Roberts, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Old Lefty 22 on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me there.
Marty Roberts, you're in Murder Beach. Is that your beach body on there, or is that grandpa body?
That's grandpa body.
Are
That's
you
dad body. That's
are
dad
you a
body.
grandpa? Are you a grandpa and you
No,
didn't tell anybody
no,
about it?
nope.
Wow.
That's a dad body.
Wow. All right, Marty. Stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network. Once again, we may be back here around 9:45 or 10. Be safe.